Hi, Wednesday's here again, so let's get started. The first thing I want to say before I start reading the letters is, in my opinion, the person that killed themselves is not the victim, it's who they left behind who is the victims. You question yourself forever. Why didn't I see it coming? What should I have done? What didn't I do? You're fighting with yourself. So, you just have to let it go. This is from Ed in Pennsylvania. I'm reading your very interesting book, and I wanted to know if there's any way to communicate with my 24-year-old son who recently killed himself. He had a bad relationship with a girl, but I would like to know what pushed him over the edge, and if he is not suffering anymore. Also, me and my wife both dreamt of him, and both were not very good dreams. First of all, when you dream of somebody that died, that means that they have crossed over. They are not earthbound. Earthbound spirits can never get into a dream. And 24 years old, 24-year-olds usually don't want to be dead. So hopefully there was a grandparent or a friend or somebody that he knew that had died that talked him into going into the white light. You and your wife had each had a dream of him, but they weren't very good. That was not him coming in your dream. That was you having a dream about him. And there's a huge difference. When you finally do have a dream about him, he'll look healthy, he'll be happy, he'll look peaceful, and you will be able to get the answers that you want. And keep checking around. Maybe he is too embarrassed to come to you or your wife in a dream. Maybe he's come to some other relative. So check around to see. And when somebody dies violently, and suicide is violent, for anybody, it can take at least 6 months before somebody will have a dream for the first time. But because he died violently, it could be up to 2 years. So keep an eye and look out for it, and eventually you should dream of him if he has crossed over. This is from Frank. Patty in Tennessee. Frank was my daughter's boyfriend for about 4.5 years, and he lived within a half mile of my house. We genuinely cared for one another, and we stayed in touch after they broke up. He was incarcerated for making terrorist threats during a psychotic period. When he got out, he shot himself in the head. I feel as though he is still very near watching me, his mother, grandmother, my daughter. It was a violent death, and he was all alone. He had apparently spoken with his mother just before he shot himself. This was her only child. We are all stunned, in shock, and in a horrible amount of pain. Can you help? No, there's nothing I can do unless I would get a call from you or any of these letters today saying if your loved one is still in the house. I can't tell from a letter. And again, because he was having a psychotic period, maybe he didn't need a reason. When people are mentally ill, they're mentally ill. So I would just keep watching. 4.5 years. If nobody's had a dream of him yet, then I would say he has not crossed over. But again, I don't know for sure because I'm not talking to you on a phone. But I would watch for the dream, and I'm going to say something which is probably going to sound a little strange, but believe it or not, it doesn't hurt to die. You can be sick and in pain working up to the death, but the actual process of dying does not hurt. And how do I know this? Because I get invited to so many funerals. And when I get invited to funerals of suicides, that's one of the very first questions that a mother, a father, a wife, a husband will ask. Did it hurt? Everybody has said no. I mean, they're in pain mentally before they do it and depressed and everything else, but the actual act of dying apparently does not hurt. Okay, this is from Elaine in Oregon. I'm sure you hear this a lot. A year ago, my beautiful daughter, just out of the army, killed herself. I cannot stop the pain. I make everyone miserable with my EVPs, trying so hard to feel or hear something. There are many legal questions, of course, but only one that I need to know to live again. I need to know where she is and that she is okay or not. She shot herself in the head, or so they say. I fear she wanders in that lonely, empty house of hers. I need to go on for her son. He has many things wrong with him. I have to snap out of this. Can you give me any information? You sort of touched on something that is pretty common. When I get calls from people that want me to attend suicides, they are 100% convinced that their loved one did not commit suicide, that they were murdered, and it was made to look like suicide. I don't know if it's a guilt thing, because if I didn't see it, then somebody must have murdered him, because if he was going to kill himself, I would have seen it. It's a double-edged sword. It's really hard. You can't reason out somebody's mental state, and that's the bottom line. You said she killed herself a year ago. It still could not be long enough for her to come into a dream, but I would be very curious, because you said you have her son. Has he said anything about seeing mommy or seeing mommy in a dream, or is he old enough to communicate like that? And as far as her walking around her house, if she's crossed over, she could be in there, but if she has not crossed over, she wouldn't be hanging out in an empty house, because she wouldn't be able to get any energy. So I would seriously doubt if she's in that house. Okay, this one is from Gina in Washington State. I see shadows and feel coldness from time to time, and I'm sure it's my sister Josie. I can't tell if she's angry with me or just wants to tell me something. Josie committed suicide 4 years ago. She hung herself, of all things. She needs help. Please help. If she's already dead, she doesn't need the help. I mean, I can't bring her back to life. If she hasn't crossed over, and you say you feel coldness from time to time, it's usually a temperature change, not just a cold, but a warm also. It could be her, it could be another earthbound spirit. I would think that you will get an answer from her in a dream. If your parents are alive, ask them if they've dreamt of her. Ask somebody, ask her friends. Have you had a dream of Josie? How did she look? If she looked good and looked healthy, then she's fine and she's where she's supposed to be. Sometimes the living are more distraught than the ones that have killed themselves. And for any of you that do not remember your dreams, get an herb called mugwort, mugwort. Make a little sachet out of it and stick it between your pillowcase and your pillow. And in about 3 weeks, you'll start remembering your dreams, which is really important if your loved ones are coming back to try to talk to you. And This one is from Robert in Michigan. Both my wife and I have experienced our ex-spouses committing suicide prior to our marriage. Since my wife's ex-spouse's suicide, my wife has experienced multiple health issues which continue today. My wife has kept the home in which the suicide took place, but it has been unoccupied. While I'm not sure that the spirits of our dead spouses are causing the health issues, it does raise a question in my mind. Could it be him or one of them? Okay, unless he was really, really, really angry with her before he divorced her, I really can't see him coming around and doing that. He could. Had either of you had a dream of your ex-spouses? That would answer a whole lot of your questions right there. If they're in dreams and they look healthy and they're happy, then they're where they're supposed to be and it's not them. Now, definitely, if you have earthbound spirits in the house, they can affect your health. Adults, unexplained headaches, lower intestinal problems, sinus problems. Children, ear, nose, throat, and upper respiratory problems. So definitely, if you've got them in the house, that could be a problem for her health. If nothing else, what I would do is start smudging, because obviously somebody is in the house and they're causing her to, her illness is not clearing up. So start smudging, smudge at least every 12 to 14 days. See if that does not make a difference. This one is from Vince in San Diego. Really wanted me to get this. Got it by registered mail yesterday. Can you come to San Diego to set up the light for my friend who committed suicide? The funeral is Sunday, August 9th. All expenses paid. Any fee you want. Please come. It's important. Number one, if you have not had the memorial service yet, he's got his white light. I don't give ghosts white light. I create a white light for them to go into. So he's got it. For me to come out there would be a waste because there would be nothing I could do. Plus, with the virus, I'm certainly not coming out to San Diego. Now, all of you, if you call, I will be able to tell if there is an earthbound spirit in the house or not, what they look like, man, woman, whatever. The other thing that you can do is I started Zoom up again, and it's every other week, 1 week Saturday, following by Friday, Saturday, Friday. We had one this past Saturday, and it was, the Saturdays are from 1:30 to 3. The Fridays are going to be like the other ones were a couple months ago, from 7:30 to 9 on Friday evenings. If any of you that have written want to get on Zoom, I'll be able to see in your house and tell you if there is somebody in the house or not and what they look like. Now, I can't talk to them, but a lot of times if a correct question is asked, I can see somebody shake their head yes or no. So that is one way you can, find out for sure. The other thing, I've got a lot of letters about how do we know which YouTube to go to get a specific subject. In the next newsletter that comes out this month, there will be a list of all 93 of them and what the subjects are for each one. And if you are not on my mailing list, go to MaryAnnWinkowski.com and get on it. That way you will get that, and you will get the reminders of the Law of Abundance each month. And next week, we are doing regular questions, just plain old regular questions. this one and the last two, murder, suicide, have been a little depressing. So let's just do, is there a ghost in my bathroom? Is one in bed with me at night? Is one chasing my dog around? Let's just do regular questions like that instead of doing this again. And remember, I do not read or watch anything on a computer. You've got to mail stuff or call. And to get my phone number, you have to go to my website. It's on there. And we will do this again next Wednesday. Thank you.